ang efficiency pagdating sa spending ng confidential funds ay 143%. Congratulations po. Pero pagdating naman po sa regular funds, napakabagal po. So, mabagal ang paggastos at may natitirang pondo. So, wasted funds, wasted time. Of course, pag i-compare po natin, halimbawa sa sinasaad ng liquidation reports ng confidential funds na for 3 quarters, na 100% na ginastos for the 3 quarters, totaling 112.5 million. Ginastos po ito for the first quarter, Feb 20 to March 30, for the second quarter, April 20 to June 29, and for the third quarter, July 12 to September 29, for a total of 190 days. And if we count the number of days in 3 quarters, that's 273 days.
If I may read, Madam Chair, in 2018, there were 79 participating countries. Ang Pilipinas po, we ranked 79th in reading, 78 in science, and 78 in mathematics. Suffice it to say that Philippines is at the bottom. Tayo po ay putot kung tawagin. And then in 2023, there were 81 participating countries. Ang Pilipinas po, it ranked 76th in reading, 79th in science, and 76th in mathematics. And I conclude that there is no significant change. There is no argument that we are already in the computer age. This is a transition that we are all mandated to face. As a matter of fact, this reality was bolstered during the time of pandemic. All services were done by way of online system. And Mr. Secretary, dito rin po nauso yung online class. The term online class. But how can we do it in public schools? And because of the lack of the necessary facility, nauso naman po yung modular. That is the intervention that we did in place of the computer system. Recognizing this reality, Mr. Secretary, nag-launch po ang DepEd ng Department Computerization Program. And along with this, nagkaroon po tayo ng information, communication, technology packages. At ito po'y dito ko nakita sa Audit Observation Memo for 2022-2023. However, before I proceed to that, Mr. Secretary, gusto ko po sanang tanungin government official from the previous administration of DepEd, the time of the previous secretary. In 2023 po ba, ano po ba ang ratio natin ng teacher to computer set at ng estudyante to computer set? Madam Chair?
Sino bang in charge ng computers? Admin? Maybe our director for, because the previous undersecretary for admin has resigned, Your Honor. But we have with us the director for IT, that's Director Pitagan. Maybe we could ask that he be recognized to explain and answer the question. With your permission, Madam Chair.
Director Pitagan, you're recognized.
Blessed morning to all. Ma'am, for the student ratio, currently we are one computer per...
If I may interrupt, we are asking for the year 2023, sir, so we can relate it with the result of the AOM for 2023.
Ma'am, yun. For the 2023 fund, ma'am, the computer ratio is 1:9, meaning one computer, 9 students po.
That is 1:9. One computer for 9 students. How about the ratio for the teachers?
During the DepEd budget hearing, Congresswoman Luistro called out the DepEd's poor performance in the 2018 and 2023 Program for International Student Assessment, PISA. She also lamented the underdelivery of computers and laptops during Sara Duterte's term and attributed this to the country's poor performance at the PISA.
Total, dito po yung region is one computer is for 30 teachers.
One computer for 30 teachers.
30.57.
That is almost saying impossible to facilitate an e-learning system having one computer for 30 teachers. And I believe, Madam Chair, that this validates the reason why the DepEd in 2023 requested and lobbied for an allocation amounting to 11,361 million. In other words, sinuportahan po tayo ng Senado at ng Kongreso in addressing this need, in addressing this gap. However, if I may request the Secretary to flash the next slide. If I may invite your attention to the current appropriations. Ito po yung appropriation for 2023. The amount is 11,361 million. However, ang naging utilization po niya is only 19.22%. That is equivalent by way of obligation to 2,183 million and disbursement to 2,075 million. So, bakit po sa tindi ng pangangailangan natin for ICT packages, Madam Chair, out of 11 billion allocation, bakit po 2,075 million lang ang naging disbursement? Can we hear from DepEd?
Please answer the question. May we direct Director Pitagan to answer, please.
Thank you very much, sir. Ma'am, for the 2023, when the new administration came in, the priority was the continuing 2022. That's why for 2022 funds, we have the 92% obligation. Now, yung 2023, ma'am, tumawid ngayon siya na 2024. So right now...
Madam Chair, if I may interrupt,
Opo.
parang ang hirap pong i-appreciate nung naging explanation nyo na ang priority nyo is continuing, which is the budget from 2022. Why therefore did you request for 11 billion for 2023? Kung sasabihin nyo ngayon, ang priority nyo is 2022, kaya hindi nyo nagamit yung 2023. Alam po ninyo, Mr. Resource Speaker, doon po sa amin sa Batangas, hindi po magkamayaw ang humihingi ng tulong na estudyante, teacher, and even PTA officers. Lahat ang problema nila, computer, laptop. Now we have this 11 billion budget. You requested this for 2023. Bakit po ang disbursement nyo 2 billion lang?
Yun, ma'am. To answer the question po, in May 2024, nabili na po natin yung 2023 budget. Ang pending po natin, 95% na yung ating obligation. Kaya lang po hindi po nagre-reflect is because we are asking for the modification of the expense class from capital outlay to MOOE.
Madam Chair, yun po bang May 2024 na sinasabi nyo, does this pertain to the 2 billion disbursement?
Hindi, ma'am. This pertains to the 8 billion more na hindi pa na gagamit.
So nasaan po yung 8 billion?
Ma'am, yun, nagamit na po natin to.
Where are the computer sets now?
The computers now are being delivered to the schools. yung pong hinahanap nyo na 20.
Who can validate that information that they are being delivered to schools? Because as far as I know, napakatindi po ng pangangailangan for computers ng ating mga public schools. If I may continue, Madam Chair, he made mention about the continuing appropriation. So let me invite your attention to color blue of the slide. Ayan po yung continuing appropriation. We have 9 billion budget. Tama po si Mr. Resource Speaker. May nagamit na 8 billion. But what surprises me a lot, punta po tayo sa baba. Both the current and the continuing has an accomplishment of 0%.
Opo.
Does our Resource Speaker validate this report? This is as of December 31, 2023.
Yes, ma'am.
And if I may add, Madam Chair, pagdating po natin dito sa accomplishment report, I hope the people of Batangas are listening to me. Para hindi na nila kulitin kung nasan itong mga computer. We're talking about 2,349 LC, 2,648 smart TVs, 12,022 laptops, 7,558 laptops. That is for current appropriation. And for continuing appropriation, Madam Chair, ang hindi po na-deliver, 6,770 packages. And the breakdown is 4,067 LC, 337 smart TVs, and 2,366 laptops, with 3,161 laptops for non-teaching personnel. This is as of December 31, 2023. Nasaan po itong mga equipments na ito?
Madam Chair, Your Honor, yung pong pinabagit nyo na 4,067 laptops, na-deliver na po natin ang 91.47%. Yung pong sinabanggit nyo na 337 packages ng smart TVs, na-deliver na po natin ang 91.6%. Doon po sa laptop for teaching na 2,366 packages, 100% na po na na-deliver natin to para sa mga teachers. At yung pong laptops for non-teaching, na-deliver na rin po ito ng 100%. These are all accounted for the fund year of 2022.
May we request the Resource Speaker to submit to us the documents proving all the delivery?
Yes, ma'am.
And can we go, Mr. Resource Speaker, to the current appropriation? Nasaan po itong 17,019 packages under the current appropriation?
Okay. Under the current appropriation for the e-learning cards, that's 1,655 packages. Medyo mababa pa po yung ating delivery dito, which is 3.44 delivery, because the contract, ma'am, the NTP was May to December. So ang target po before the end of the year, maibigay po yung lahat ng ELC. Sa STV naman, ma'am, it's the same. For 5,942 packages, it's 3.77% na po yung na-deliver.
If I may interrupt, Madam Chair, in other words, the average percentage with respect to the delivery is 3%
Yes, ma'am.
out of the total number of packages.
Yes, ma'am. Because the procurement of the current 2024 happened in January.
Madam Chair, I hope that the DepEd, Mr. Resource Speaker, realizes that the specification when we talk about ICT changed so fast. Hindi ko po alam kung paano nyo i-realize ito concerning the possible significant changes already with the specs of the ICT packages for which the current appropriation is originally allocated.
Thank you very much for that very good observation. Ma'am, all our packages from e-learning card to STV, laptop for teachers, and laptop for non-teaching are duly vetted and cleared from the Department of Information, Communication, and Technology. So nagsasubmit po kami sa kanila ng tech specs, including that of the 2023, and they gave us the corresponding clearance.
What causes the delay?
Ma'am,
Or should I say, who causes the delay?
Ma'am, hindi naman. Ma'am, kasi yun nga pong 2024, yung current fund. Siyempre po, nagsimula po kami ng procurement ng January.
No,
So,
this is 2023 budget.
the 2023 budget. Ma'am,
Current appropriation pertains to 2023 current appropriation.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, yun nga po, if I may backtrack a bit, kasi po noong 2023, when we first came in, yung new breed of leaders, hindi pa po nagagalaw yung 2022. So naging priority po muna yon noong 2023.
I will go back to my question, Madam Chair. If your priority is 2022, then you should not have requested for 2023. Kanina po may nabanggit na nasa warehouse. Ano po ba yung nasa warehouse?
Ma'am, yung nasa warehouses na nabanggit, these are not these lots. Ito pong DepEd computerization program na ito po yung recalibrated DCP. Yung pong nasa warehouse, those purchased during 2020-2021.
2020-2021.
Yes, ma'am.
Ito pong 2022, ito yung 2023, ito po yung dinideliver pa lang ngayong 2024.
Yes, ma'am.
Madam Chair, I just wish to manifest my frustration about the significant delay in the proper bidding, procurement, and delivery of all this ICT equipments. Ito po'y kailangan ng ating mga public schools. As a matter of fact, I wish to believe na ito po ang dahilan kung bakit ang Philippine education ay nasa bottom ng ranking ng PISA. Mayroon naman po tayong budget. Why don't we act promptly? So we address this problem in the Department of Education.
Thank you very much, Your Honor, for that observation, validating the need of technology for schools. Ma'am, kaya po ngayon, doon po sa hinihingi namin na 2025, we have started already the early procurement activities. Para po ngayon this year, meron na pong NEP level, sinimulan na po namin yung EPA activities para nga pagdating ng 2025, mabili ka
Madam
agad
Chair,
at
I wish to go
ma-deliver.
back to my question. What caused the delay in the procurement for 2023? Because I do not consider as a valid excuse na priority nyo ang 2022. Please give me a valid reason.
Well, some of the reasons na nilagay din po namin, number one, we have to, since bago yung leadership, we have to recalibrate. Kasi ma'am, dati e-classroom siyon. So we have to really do an extensive onboarding of all the strands, all the people on the ground. Ano ba talaga yung kailangan? Magbibigay ba tayo ng computer laboratory? And a whole other...
Ibig sabihin, Mr. Resource Speaker, while you are doing all this procurement, you have not made up your mind as to the specification of the ICT that you are procuring. That is a manifestation, Madam Chair. I acknowledge that my time ended already. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Representative Luistro. Since there are no other members from the minority who wish to ask question, let's proceed to the rest of the members of the majority for the interpellation. Next to ask question is Representative Migs Nograles. Not around. The chair now recognizes Vice Chairperson Representative Zia Alonto Adjong.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Magandang umaga po sa ating DepEd family. Let me just associate myself, Madam Chair, to the opening remarks of our sponsor when she describes our current weather status with the entry of our Secretary, Sonny Angara. Well, it makes the Beatles song a little bit relevant today. Mr. Chair, Madam Chair, I was listening to the manifestation of our good friend and a veteran legislator from Cagayan de Oro City, Congressman Rufus Rodriguez, when he also mentioned about one of my favorite Western philosophers, the father of modern philosophy, René Descartes, cogito ergo sum. I think therefore, the reason why I'm saying this, Madam Chair, because it has, though Descartes is a Protestant, but it has a religious symbolism to that statement, cogito ergo sum. As our secretary would know, the first surah chapter in the Quran, which was revealed to our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, was Suratul Alaq. In English, it means daybreak or dawn. So it represents the emergence of the wisdom and the knowledge that the person needs to acquire. And the first line that was revealed to our Prophet was Ikra. In Arabic, Ikra, it means read. Read. And the succeeding lines, read in the name of thy Lord, who created man from a single clot of blood, who teaches man what he knows not. So, in response to Congressman Rufus' manifestation earlier, the reason why it is innate for every one of us to seek knowledge is because we are trying to get closer to the source of knowledge, which is God. So I'd just like to ask a question. I don't know which of the undersecretaries would I be directing this question, because I came from a Muslim community, a minority Muslim community. Sometimes these communities are outside of, outside of the reach of the central offices, in this case, DepEd. So I'm more particular about how the DepEd would really push on to include all the marginalized communities, especially those who are in the far-flung areas, and those, especially communities that have been affected by either man-made or natural calamities. So I'm more interested in the program, yung tinatawag po nating Last Mile Schools program, Madam Chair. So before I ask the question to whichever is appropriate undersecretaries to help me understand further, enlighten me as to the status of this program, I'd just like to ask Secretary Angara. I was reading a news article that came out today, this morning, and you were quoted, actually, Madam Chair, Secretary Angara, about your recommendation to review and reassess the processes in terms of, I guess, the procuring of procurement processes, and to reevaluate the existing policies of your department. May I ask, Madam Chair, if Secretary Angara particularly refers to the Last Mile Schools program, and why does he recommend the reevaluation and review of the existing procurement policies of his department?
Good afternoon, Kong Adyong. Salamat po for your very optimistic words, and salam alaikum. You're correct, Your Honor, Madam Chair. That is one of the concerns, because dito sa Last Mile Schools, the experience on the ground is parang nagugulat yung nagbibid siya ng mababa, tapos nakikita niya napakalayo pala nung lugar. So, madalas ina-abandon niya yung project, sa totoo lang. So, I think we have to examine our bidding processes there and ensure that there is enough room for the associated costs, the logistics of building these classrooms. And itong Last Mile Schools, of course, ito nga yung in geographically disadvantaged, isolated and disadvantaged areas, or GIDA areas, and there is a budget in the 2025 proposed budget for 10 billion, covering 154 school sites. But more generally, regarding procurement, I really noticed that mabagal ho kami sa procurement. Okay. I think if you notice for 2024, the books are not arriving on time, Your Honor. We're only starting to deliver books now, and the kids are already in school. The completion of the books will be done by December, Your Honor. So, hindi na po pwede. I think we can borrow practices from some other agencies of government who do, nabanggit po yung EPA or yung early procurement activities. It is applicable not only to infrastructure, because the infrastructure, to build a classroom is more difficult than building a road, Your Honor, because you have to assess the condition of the soil, you have to validate the school site, you have to check that there is a school title, among others, among many other things. You have to check that if you're building a 5-story school building that the structure can be supported by the geographical conditions, Your Honor. These are but some of the things we have to do, unlike when we put something for a road. So I've conveyed this to the leadership of the House, and I think that's why they're asking for your lists quite early, and we're very appreciative of this proactive action on the part of the chair, the vice chair, our budget sponsor, our senior vice chair, because working together we can really accelerate the pace, because if we do a status quo type of action, wala hong mangyayari sa atin, Your Honor. We need really to work in tandem, multitask, meaning we're debating the budget, but at the same time, we're also doing the executive or administrative activities like early procurement activities for books, for infrastructure, for computers, doing things like market scoping, discussion with the prospective bidders, short of award, Your Honor, because clearly that's what the DPWH does in many of its infrastructure projects, I understand, Your Honor. Kaya yun po yung nais nating mangyari. And then lastly, dun sa reading ho, unfortunately we're not a reading culture, Your Honor, but I suspect everyone in this room has benefited somehow from reading, meaning our parents read to us, our teachers read to us, and we learned reading at a young age, and we imbibed it and we read on our own so that we progressed in life, Your Honor. So the studies show that the countries who do the best in PISA exams are those where there's a reading culture and the parents read to their children. That's why they check, bakit sa ibang bansa active naman ang parents sa Parent Teachers Association, nanonood po sila ng soccer game, ng basketball game, nagpapakain naman sila. Pero hindi yun ang effective interventions po. Yung effective intervention, yung basahan natin ang ating mga anak. For teachers, for parents, for communities, we really need to work together to encourage a reading culture in our country. That is the future, Your Honor.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Secretary Angara. Now, you mentioned about the slow and delay process in the bidding process. No, is it safe to assume, Madam Chair, Secretary, that in the previous, no, itong sinabi mong i-recommend for evaluation, what is the ano, no? How do you proceed with the bidding processes before you procure? Is it centralized ang bidding ninyo, or do you also devolve these functions to your regional and city and provincial offices? Kasi may delay. Ang sabi mo kanina, because of the logistics, sometimes it causes delay because you procure in the central offices. No?
Yes, Your Honor. That's a very good question. Decentralized po yung repairs. Of course, construction is on the is for the DPWH. Pero yung mga repairs of classroom nasa nasa regions po yun. The bidding is also at the regional level, Your Honor. And for furniture, school furniture, that's also at the regional level. Pero yung mga libro, yung mga computers na napag-usapan natin previously is done at the central office. So I think one of the reforms that we can institute is how we can do it at the regional level para mas mabilis po.
Okay, di ba your department is requesting for additional 10 billion pesos to fund the LMSP program. But let's talk about the challenges that you faced in terms of the slow utilization in the budget. According to your submitted summary of appropriations, allotments, obligation, disbursement, and balances, there was an amount of 20.54 billion pesos. Only 50% of that was utilized, no? Which amounts to roughly around 10.29 billion pesos. And this is on top, Madam Chair, this is on top of the budget, the slow completion of facilities. I think the program is aiming to provide for among the 152 sites constructed. There are quite a number of funds that have been reverted. So I'm asking now, Mr. Secretary, or whoever is in charge of this program, which Undersecretary is in charge of the LMS, why is there a slow delay of the completion of these projects, number one, prior to the request of the 10 billion, because there's a sizable amount that you have not been utilized but obligated? I'm just asking, Madam Chair, what really causes the delay in terms of the sites that you have already identified, the completion of these school facilities, and as well as the reversion of some of the funds that have already been allotted to you. Number 3 is also the 73, I think 70 times have already completed, but out of the 156. Now, this program has been going on since 2022, and this is now the 4th year of this program, if I may say so. So I'm just wondering, Madam Chair, what really is the challenges that you're facing? Is it because of, sabi nga ni Secretary, is it because of the logistics? Is it because there seems to be a problem in terms of the liquidated damages that you have to incur against those suppliers that did not faithfully complied with the agreement you have signed? I don't know, Mr. Secretary, whoever
with your permission,
Yes, I have so
Jong.
many questions, but
Yes.
I have limited time, and that's why I'm trying to compound all these questions all together.
Yes. Thank you. We appreciate that,
Yes.
the holistic approach, Madam Chair. If I may turn them over to you, Sec Densing, with your permission, Your Honor, because they were the ones in charge of the Last Mile Schools program under the school infrastructure strand previously. And-
Secretary.
Madam Chair, Your Honor, with respect to the Last Mile School program, the problematic year for implementation was the 2021, primarily because it was the only time that the procurement of the Last Mile School was centralized. And there were 3 contractors that was chosen. So when the infrastructure strand was created, we talked to the 3 contractors, giving them a chance to continue. And after they were given a certain deadline, only one of the contractor was able to finish, I think, 95% of what was allotted to it. The other one is around 25 or 30%. The balance, I think they will not be able to build anymore. And the third contractor had zero output, and this is the contractor which was in charge of Mindanao. And we are now in the process of terminating those contractors who really did not comply with their requirements.
Those are the facilities, no?
Newly appointed DepEd Secretary Edgardo Angara vowed to fix the department's problems as he spelled out a 5-point agenda. He also talked about improving the procurement and classroom building programs. Likewise, he mentioned the ways forward, and one of them is improving teacher training and professional development.
Next slide, please. Some of the ways forward, Your Honors. So we have a 5-point agenda pursuant to the SONA directives of President Marcos to focus on improving education outcomes. First, we will make sure our senior high school graduates are employable and empowered to harness the totality of their potential. Second, we will improve the quality of education, our performance in international large-scale assessments, and address literacy and numeracy in the early years. Third, we will uplift and upskill teachers to make sure that teachers are trained and well supported, ensuring they can concentrate on teaching and are capacitated to be effective in achieving quality. Fourth, we will ensure the physical and mental well-being of our learners, to enjoy learning that is free from bullying and mental health burdens, and to put a premium on ensuring a positive learning experience for our learners. And fifth, we hope to help address the classroom gap and the digital gap and solve the perennial problem of textbooks. All of this within a child-centered, enabling environment. Next slide, please. Regarding employability of our learners, some of the steps include empowering them for employment by decluttering the senior high school curriculum. Currently, all 4 tracks are required to take 15 subjects, and we feel that is way too much, and certainly more than what most countries around the world require of their students. To enhance work immersion programs for senior high school students, to fund and support the assessment and certification of our senior high school and TVET graduates. Next slide, please. To raise the quality of our education, to continuously improve the curriculum, taking into account the inputs from the various schools and teachers, to review and strengthen our learning recovery programs, to provide targeted support to our low-achieving learners, to capacitate learners, teachers, and schools for international assessments, to leverage technologies and provide hybrid computer-based and online modalities, to use assessment data to inform policy, teaching and learning, and to support and promote inclusive education programs. Next slide, please. The President is particularly concerned about the next PISA exam. And this is in March 2025, next year, just a few months from now. And so we have formed a PISA technical working group within the department to organize test materials and school infrastructure assessments. Starting in September, we will digitize test items with ICTS and Khan Academy and introduce a PISA-focused science program. That is the timeline there, Your Honors. From October to December, we'll hold learning sessions for 1.6 million 15-year-old public school learners. This is the universe of the PISA takers, Your Honor, except we won't know the actual PISA takers until February 2025. But in January 2025, the OECD will select around 150 public schools, and DepEd will provide them with the necessary ICT equipment. In February 2025, they will narrow down the universe to 7,000 public school learners who will be identified to take the PISA exam, and we will continue our intensive learning sessions. And the PISA survey will be conducted in March 2025 with final results expected by late 2026. It will be 60% science, so that is a particular challenge for the Philippine education system given the lack of science teachers and our poor performance in previous assessments and tests. Next slide, please. Ways forward, we need to uplift and upskill our teachers pursuant to the President's direction to enable them to concentrate on teaching and reduce their administrative tasks, to ensure merit-based promotion and fair compensation, to increase school MOE, ensuring proper support to teachers for classroom expenses, to have teacher training and professional development, and make them effective and measurable, Your Honors. Next slide, please. Another concern is the physical and mental well-being of our learners. Thus, we must ensure health, nutrition, and safety in schools, address bullying, and ensure a positive learning environment. Next slide, please. Perennially challenging, of course, is the classroom gap as well as the digital gap. The perennial problem of textbooks also needs to be resolved, Your Honors. Thus, empowering the regions, the SDOs, or the division offices, and the schools by decentralizing key processes, ensuring schools have enough classrooms, electricity, running water, internet connections, improving turnaround time and streamlining processes of procurement, efficient and accurate data collection analysis, increasing partnerships with the private sector, as well as increased digitalization of learning. Next slide, please. With your permission, Mr. Chair, Your Honors, we now proceed to the fiscal year 2025 National Expenditure Program and our budget proposal. Next slide, please. The total proposed appropriations for the DepEd, as well as its 6 attached agencies, the National Book Development Board, the National Council for Children's Television, the National Museum, the Philippine High School for the Arts, the Early Child Care and Development Council, the National Academy for Sports. The total proposed appropriations, Madam Chair, Mr. Chair, amounts to 793.18 billion pesos.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. Thanks for watching.